Thank you very much and welcome you. First of all, I'm quite impressed with the amount of people who came to this meetup. First such big meetup which I ever seen. So about me, my name is Maciej, and I prepare for you a tip. This is how you should pronounce my name. I live in Krakow, in Poland. I work in IT for about 10 years. I was working with as a backend developer as well as a frontend developer. Currently, I'm working as a senior software development engineer at Akamai Technologies. This is an American-based corporation with headquarters in Cambridge, Massachusetts. We are the content delivery network with multiple thousands of servers around the world. Apart of that, I am sometimes writing about JavaScript, especially Angular and Node.js, and also I am an open source contributor. If you would like, just go on and find out this project, NG Toolkit. I think it's worth to take a look. And at the bottom you can see my handle, and you can find me out on Twitter, LinkedIn, and all those logotypes which are listed here. So today I would like to speak about progressive web applications and what are those. We should start for sure from the web momentum and take a look a little bit about the history. So 1969, this is the moment when the internet started at all. This is the moment when ARPANET was founded, where the first package was sent through the internet. Later, much later in fact, in 1991, we got the first HTML website, which were published on the web. After that, in 1993, we got HTML. Later, we started to make the more, let's say, dynamic pages with PHP and JavaScript. After that, people started thinking about making it more nicer with CSS. Then we are coming to the time which we are most interested in. In 2005, that was the moment when, for the first time, the AJAX term was used. The asynchronous call to don't reload the whole view for publishing new data. And after that, in 2014, we have published the HTML5, which gave us a possibility to create single-page applications. So, we have 2014, single-page apps are here, but nowadays, in 2018, we should go one step further and go on with progressive web apps. What progressive web app is to making your applications more reliable, engaging, and fast. In fact, this is the demo, how is this working. When you are navigating to application which is PWA, then your Android device will ask if you would like to add it to your desktop. It will cache your content. You can then launch it from the desktop on your device with the nice splash screen. It got a separate thread in the task manager as a native app. As you can see, the browser is next to it. In fact, it's doing something like giving a user a native app experience from the App Store without an App Store. A little bit of statistics from Google. First of all, I think that this is the most important case. What Google says is that average PWA takes 25 less size in the device storage than the native apps which are published on the App Store. Apart of that, App Store expect from users to perform more actions to install application on their device. With PWA, you have just that one banner. You are clicking it, and we are already on your device. So thanks to that, what Google says, we have 5 times more conversions than installing application from the App Store. Some use cases from companies which decided to move to PWA. This company is Make My Trip. They are, as far as I know, they are booking trips for their customers. Another example which I prepared is Forbes. biggest increase which they found was in the loading time. And last but not least, Jumia, the notification open rate. This is the thing about which I will speak also a little bit later, about push notifications in PWA. This is also a really nice feature. Okay, so going forward, why PWA in fact is possible, why we are able to produce progressive web apps, how to do that, how to make them work offline, etc. We are using the concept which is named service worker. It's a special kind of the web worker which in fact is working in the middle of your browser and the origin in the internet. Service worker is here. Regularly, normally when you navigate into the website, it's executed into one thread of the browser, and whenever user closes this website, the thread is closed as well. But the service worker works a little bit different. It goes to the background, which gives us an ability to persistent processing in the background, caching files as well, and thanks to that background processing, we are able to execute push notifications. Okay, so yeah, I already said that. How to start? There is one way which I strongly recommend to use the schematics which were already mentioned today, provided by the Angular team. Okay, great. And what these schematics will do for you, it will prepare a lot of files. Okay, not a lot. Let's say 4 or 5, I don't remember. I listed those 2 because they are most important. Apart of that, the schematics will update your Angular JSON configuration, install some dependencies, etc. Let's focus on ngsw-config, which is an entry point for an Angular builder and giving it an information how to build a service worker file for us. We are informing what we want to cache in our application and how we want to cache that. Apart of that, there are just 2 holders here for index file and application data like name and description. Let's take a look at assets groups. Here, we are saying from what the skeleton of our application is built. Things like images, fonts, cascading style sheets, etc. We have 2 modes of installation and prefetching those data. The first one is lazy, and another one is prefetch mode. Prefetch mode tells service worker to download all the content immediately, even if it's not needed by a customer. Lazy, of course, downloads the content when it's requested and caches it in the service worker after that. Another thing which we have in this JSON file is data groups, and this is also about caching, but in this particular case, we are saying about external API calls. So, usually it is data which you are feeding your app with. 2 strategies here, freshness and I need to check. Oh, I don't see my presenter notes. Freshness and the other one, which I have in summary, so it will appear, no worries. And summary about content caching is here. About this NGSW JSON file. Application data, index, asset groups, data groups, freshness or performance. Okay, that was the second strategy. What is the difference between those 2? Freshness is the strategy which is internet first and then cache the content. Performance is of course local cache first and then going to internet to update the cache. Okay, so that was about content caching. Let's go to push notifications. I think that a lot of you know how to use them and what is push notification. They are mostly seen in native apps. But nowadays we can also put them into website, into progressive web apps, and use them as well on the desktop as on the mobile devices. To do that, this is how they are looking. To achieve that, we need also a backend for that. We are using the push service of the provider of Google or Apple, and Google or Apple is taking care about their devices, about their clients to receive push. This is how push notifications looks on Android. Same like from any native application. Okay, so what we need to do to send push notifications to our clients. First of all, you need to render a pair of SSH keys. And these keys are provided by the push server provider. You can go navigate to this website. There is just one click, download your keys, and then start working with them. Private key will be needed on the server side, public key on your client side. When you will get your keys, so as you can see, this is with the SW push service from Angular Service Worker package. It's all official packages. You are using the keys obtained from the internet, and in return it gives you the push subscription object, inside which the most interesting for us object is endpoint. This is the URL to which we are sending the JSON with the push notification. Here we are describing what title we want to use, what image we want to display, and what should be the content. And of course, depending on the endpoint, to which device we want to push this notification. So if you have, for example, 100 people subscribe for your notifications, you need to make 100 requests to particular endpoints for every device. When we are ready, when we have those endpoints, we store them in the database, for example. We can start with pushing. There are two libraries. In fact, this what I'm providing you here is based on the previous one. The first one is a pure Java client, which I found on the GitHub. This is for rapid push notifications. The second one is my adaptation of that to provide possibility of pushing notifications via Amazon Web Services simple notification service. Amazon has quite nice offer. You can build a lot of your applications mostly for free. In fact, you should check that. Okay, so we covered in whole what NGSW config JSON makes, that configuration of the service worker file, which is executed in a separate thread. This is for push notifications and for caching. Let's go with manifest.json. This example is from Akamai Affinity conference, which we organized in Krakow a couple weeks ago. And manifest.json file is a set of rules for the Android device, which defines how we want to display different modes of our application, like name when there is pop-up, which is asking for adding to home screen, what icon we want to use on the screen, what would be the splash screen, also the display mode. So as you can see, the standalone means that we are removing the navigation bar of the browser. There is also a full screen mode, which is prepared for games, I guess. So this is, in fact, everything about Angular and PWA together. But there are a couple pitfalls which you need to be aware for. and I just wrote two of them, which in my opinion are most important. First, the problem is server-side rendering. How many of you are using server-side rendering or heard about that? A couple. So server-side rendering, quickly saying, is a way of executing Angular application on the Node.js server for the CO purpose, to load it quicker to, oh sorry, it's not loading quicker, because in fact we are executing it on server. On server, the load takes a little bit longer, but we are providing customer with ready and generated HTML and CSS. The problem with PWA is that it is based on the browser object, which of course are not existing on the server side, like window, document, etc. Navigator, for example. The solution is super simple. You can provide in your server module the mocks for the service worker stuff. And I also covered that in ng-toolkit. You can use the schematics, ng-add, ng-toolkit/pwa, and it will just provide you those mocks for free. The another pitfall is this is the nightmare, in fact. How PWA works and how service worker works, we have a link in the HTML file in the header, which installs the JavaScript in the service worker. If you won't attach to this service worker an update mechanism, it will never update, in fact. So you can get your customers stuck in the issues, and the only thing which you could ask them is to make a hard reload and start to explain them how to launch the developer mode, remove the cached data, unregister service worker, and do a lot of horrible stuff. So what is the most important? Start from the update mechanism. This is how it is, this is the API of the service, and this is how it is implemented in ng-toolkit, and this is how you could implement on your own. First of all, we are checking if we are in the browser, because there is no sense to work on the server side. If we are checking the is-enabled returns as a true when browser supports service worker. If it supports service worker, we are checking if there is new version available, already installed. And if it is installed, we are reloading the page to wrap them, to switch the places, the old service worker with the new one. And new one is installed by check update method. A little bit about tools. This is a screen from the audit from the Google Chrome developer tools. It makes a couple checks against your website, checking if you are a progressive web app. It's checking the load time, the offline works, if you are using HTTPS, if you have correctly prepared manifest JSON, etc., etc., etc. And this is also Chrome developer tools. And this is what I had on my mind, telling that you would need to ask your customer to go here, unregister service worker, and do all the horrible stuff. This is the section where we as developers, we can manipulate our service workers, we can send fake push notifications to check if our application behaves like as we expect, and do all the other stuff which you could see here. Okay, so browser support. Service workers, PWAs, and push notifications in the version which I showed you with the Angular are available on all the browsers apart one. Who wanna make a wild guess which one doesn't support PWA? Give me a sec.
Internet Explorer.
You won nothing. This is the first time in IT history when Internet Explorer and Microsoft had beat the competition. Service worker is not supported in Safari.
And anything on iOS browsers.
Exactly. But it still gives us an 85% of the market worldwide. And still, if your customer browser does not support service worker, you need to remember that PWA is just a website. So it will be working, but with less functionalities. And there are some workarounds which you can do. To achieve pushes on Safari, they provide us with the Safari push. It works, unfortunately, only on desktop, and you need paid subscription as an Apple developer. It costs something like $100 yearly. It gives you an ability to publish apps to the App Store, and also you are able to make Safari push client. Another thing which you can do on iOS is create, okay, this is possible with every website, adding it to desktop, but as long as you won't prepare those links and those meta tags, iOS device will use just some basic data. With those, you can customize this. So, summarizing where we are. Offline capabilities. On this side, we have Smile. Safari, unfortunately, doesn't support it. Up to home screen is available on both. And push notifications are available on both, but on Safari, they are paid. So, I don't know if we should be happy or not, in fact. That's all from my side. My handle again. Follow me. You're more than welcome. And thank you one more time.
Okay, guys. Все живы? Everyone is alive, so don't worry. Okay, who wants to ask questions? Okay.
Hi. Great. I want to ask about push notifications in case of mobile devices. You can configure it. You can set notification off for some application or something like that. But what about the PWA? How, for example, I can disable notifications already enabled in some PWA application, PWA?
So, first of all, unfortunately, I am an iOS user, so I didn't try that. But as far as I know, PWA is installed in Android and behaves exactly like a native app. It's not only getting its own thread in the task manager, but also its own settings, its own section in the settings in device where you can remove it or block notifications, I guess, or whatever other settings are for native apps there.
Okay, thanks.
You should catch it.
Hi, I have a question about updating installed web application, how it's possible. When we installed on our PC and then you updated, how should we update it on our desktop or another device? Thank you.
So with the SV update service from Angular package, you have those API checks. And in fact, you are just including in your application checking for update. Whenever there is new version on your origin, your customer is still running the old version of the application. Let's say 1.0, and I'm publishing 1.1. You are coming to my website, and now application checks origin if there is something new, installs this in the background, and as long as you don't reload the page, you are still running on the 1.0. When you will close all the tabs and navigate to the web application again, you are running 1.1. And I think that there are two good ways to prompt user to reload. First of all, displays some kind of prompt. It could be fancy, just click to reload. Let's imagine a situation that you are super quick and you are starting to type something before application will check that there is an update. For sure, you will be angry because of interruption of your action. And this is the other way. Just reload it on your own, programmatically in JavaScript. That answers your question?
Yeah, thank you.
Hi. So I wanted to ask, I mean, nowadays there are a lot of discussions between like, should we choose native applications like based on Cordova or like using React Native stack? I just wanted to ask, is there any support for native plugins on PWA for mobile devices? Thanks.
Give me a sec, because I don't know if I catch you.
Do you know, like on Cordova, there are some native plugins like Camera. I don't know, like
okay. You are asking.
Key store and
okay, you are asking if PWA is able to access, for example, Camera or.
Yeah,
or
can it like access some native plugins?
I got the point. Unfortunately, as far as I know, not. Because we are still in the browser, and you know, the Google or Apple or any other OS device, OS provider isn't able to check if given application is not malware. What they are doing when you are publishing it to the App Store. The only thing which you could do is everything with what you can do with the traditional website, plus this is what Service Worker gives you, so just push notifications and caching. But as far as I know, there is quite a lot of APIs right now open in JavaScript. I'm not sure for 100%, but I'm quite sure that you can access camera of device. For sure you can access the gyroscope and check in what position the device is. As long as you don't need access to contacts of your customer, I think that PWA would be enough. Okay, we are done. Thank you one more time.